Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So glad you could join me. Just going to show you how easy it is to make a very quick and easy, delicious supper in just a few minutes. I'm going to make a stir fry, and the first thing you're going to do is you're going to want to go through your pantry and your fridge and see what you have, what needs to get used. So I went through, I have some mushrooms that needs to get used. We've got bean sprouts. I don't know if you saw my Instagram on the weekend, made some great banh mi's. I had some cabbage that needs to get used. And we're going to just make it easy with some frozen vegetables. But the first thing we're going to do is get our rice cooking. That's what's going to take the most time with this quick, easy supper. What I'm going to do is I've got my water starting to boil. You could use your Instant Pot if you'd like. And I'm going to use some Better Than Bouillon. That just adds, I'm going to use the chicken flavor, and it's the no chicken flavor, obviously. It's the vegan one that they have. And I get mine on Amazon, which makes it super easy. They have the beef one and the vegetable one. And they just add a little bit of flavor to all of your dishes. They're great for making gravies and everything. So what I'm going to do is I've rinsed my rice. I like rinsing my rice. And when you're cooking it on the stove, it's 2 to 1. So we're just going to get our rice going, bring that to a boil, bring it down to a simmer. We're going to let that get cooking. And then we're going to get into our vegetables and figure out where we're putting in our stir fry. Okay, so our rice is going. So now we got to get our vegetables going for our stir fry. So we're just going to use what we have some celery. We're just going to chop it up. I like to do it on the bias, which just means on a diagonal. We're just going to chop it. And when you're doing a stir fry, you want to have everything ready to go so that you're just going to take everything to the stove and stir fry it up. All at once. You don't want to be going back and forth. So it's called mise en place. It means you have everything in place, so you're ready to go. Onion, again, just the basics that you normally have. And I just like my chunks of onions, because those are going to cook down. Again, super simple. This is the quickest, easiest supper that you could make. And same thing with the carrots. I like to do those also on an angle. The other reason you want to cut your vegetables on an angle, they have more cooking surface, so they'll cook faster and more evenly. All right, those are going to go in. And then we have our mushrooms. The bean sprouts take absolutely no time to cook. Those will be cooked just at the end. The mushrooms too will go towards the end. And I already kind of par-cooked the frozen vegetables, so they just need to kind of get in the pan at the last minute with our sauce. So we'll get our pan going because we want that nice and hot. Now I do still have some mushrooms left over. And Ruben and I did a taste test from some products from Trader Joe's, and they had this great garlic dip. So I was actually going to do a recipe for some stuffed mushrooms with the ones that are left over with some spinach. So I'm going to save those ones for maybe tomorrow to do another recipe. So we're going to go head over. I'm just actually going to put a little bit of water in our pan. And you're going to just want to get that nice and hot. I'm actually going to get a little bit more water. While we're waiting for that to come up, what we're going to do is just make our recipe. We're going to put some water. You could use some stock on that. I'm just going to use water. I'm going to use just a couple of drops of some sesame oil. And a little bit of brown sugar. And we're just talking about just a little bit of brown sugar for some sweetness. We want those umami flavors. And looking for my rice vinegar. Can't seem to find it. I use regular vinegar. And just a splash. We just want a little sour to go with that. Again, we're just waiting for our pan to come up. Very good. I'll do a little more soy sauce. And some garlic. Just play around with your flavors. See what you like using, what tastes good. Usually Ruben helps me. Can you think of anything else, baby? My cameraman. And then once you get your flavors to where you want, that's when we're going to put in our thickening agent, which is going to be a little bit of cornstarch. Actually, I might actually put in. So our water is just starting to boil. I think I'm going to put some of that Trader Joe's vegan chickenless. Always has a good flavor to everything. Okay. So our water's come up to a little boil here in our frying pan. We're going to put in our regular vegetables to start. Super easy. Our rice is done. Just going to double check it. Flip it up. Just make sure it's cooked. Let's pull it off the stove. We're going to let that finish cooking or finish steaming. And now we're just going to cook down our onions a little bit. We're going to leave our pan on hot. The other thing I'm going to add in, I have a can of water chestnuts. That'll add a great crunch. Our bean sprouts. So what we're wanting to do is just have that water. If you're using oil, you can use a little bit of oil. That'll brown everything up. Okay, so our onions and our carrots and our celery are cooking down. We're going to get our mushrooms in, and we're going to get those browning. Those are going to take us a few minutes. And we want to make sure that those cook down, give them a few minutes to go. Give them their little time in the pan. We want them to get all nice and brown. Okay, so we're just going to finish up. I'm going to put in the frozen vegetables that I kind of warmed up in the microwave, but I didn't totally cook them. Going to throw in our bean sprouts. We wanted to use those up. And our chestnuts for that crunch. I also put in the cabbage while we were doing the mushrooms. And now we're going to put our delicious sauce on this. So now the cornstarch, you can use cornstarch, potato starch, tapioca, any of the starches that you want to use. And that's going to thicken up our sauce to give us a nice kind of gravy for our stir fry. And we're just going to heat that up now because the rest of everything just needs to warm through. And supper's almost done. How fast was that? Just use what you have, guys. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just see what you have. Use up what you need so we're not wasting. These stir-fry sauces, you don't need to go out and buy the bottles of that stuff. You can. If you're really busy and you don't want to make them, but really it's soy sauce, some sugar, a little bit of vinegar, a couple of spices. Everybody has salt and pepper in their cupboards, garlic. And then we're just going to heat it up nice and hot. Get that sauce to thicken. I'm just getting it to come up to temperature so that the sauce thickens. Pour the rest on there. And while that sauce thickens and everything comes up to temperature, we're going to serve up our rice. And then always presentation. It's always great, so I'm just going to put it in this nice little container, and that is hot rice. Goodness me. Invert it. There we go. Our sauce is thickening up. It is, nope. Our sauce is thickening up. It's almost ready. I'm just going to grab cilantro from the fridge because this dish needs a little bit of cilantro. There we go. And we're having supper, guys. We're going to serve this up, and you can serve it beside your rice, on top of your rice, and then just make sure you put your sauce over. A little bit of cilantro to add to that freshness. And again, not always Instagram worthy, guys, but always delicious. Give the stir fry a try. Super simple. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button. Give it a big thumbs up, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.